Good Erev Shabbos, everyone, and happy Purim. I hope everyone is having a joyous and celebratory Purim on this particularly special day as we celebrate Purim on Friday, Erev Shabbat. Purim flowing directly into Shabbat creates a whole bunch of interesting scenarios, and throughout the rest of the Jewish world and right here in Riverdale, we've been presented with a unique opportunity. We are required to have seudot, feasts, on both the day of Purim and Shabbat night. And as such, we have the opportunity to do something that doesn't come up very often. Combine them together through a fascinating halachic process called Pores Mappa Umekadesh, in which we begin the meal while it's still Purim and later on make Kiddush for Shabbat. But the Ramah, the great Rabbi Moshe Isserlis, disagreed with this practice. Knowing it was technically possible, he still encouraged everyone to have two separate meals when Purim falls on Friday. One should have your Purim Suda in the morning, and only later on you should have your normal Shabbat dinner at night. Well, I will be at the Beit Suda, where we'll get to see this special practice in action, and I really do hope to see everyone else there. I really do relate to the Ramah. The meals of Shabbat and the meal of Purim have different qualities and sets of experiences. Combining them together forces us to balance them, which in a sense really does lessen them both. Purim is a time of happiness and silliness. Dressed in costumes, we celebrate Mordechai and Esther and our people's triumph over the evils of Haman. And the Purim Suda is meant to be a ruckus affair, embodying this. Shabbat, while also happy, is a tranquil time. Dressed in our special Shabbat clothes, and after welcoming the Sabbath Queen in Kabbalat Shabbat, we sit around the table with family and friends in togetherness. Both equally holy, but different. Rabbi David Bigman notes something similar at the end of this week's Parsha of Kitisa. After the events of the golden calf, the smashing of the Luchot, and Moshe's ensuing pleading on behalf of Bnei Yisrael, we learn in Shmot Lamed Gimel that Moshe moves his tent outside of the Israelite camp, michutz lamachaneh. Despite God appearing before the people just a few parshiot ago in tumult and thunder during the giving of the Ten Commandments, now God appears before Moshe in nearly the opposite manner. Rav Bigman builds off of Rashi's understanding and holds that Moshe needed the intimacy and quiet so that he could continue to communicate with God. Much like Shabbat and Purim, these two different experiences of God have their time and place, l'kol zman va'et, offering what was needed in that moment. This is the truth at the heart of the Ramah's opinion. We need the silliness of Purim and the tranquility of Shabbat, and each deserve to be embodied fully in their own separate moments. And luckily we get to do this almost each and every year. But Purim being on Friday presents an additional unique reality this year. In ancient walled cities such as Jerusalem, which typically celebrate Shushan Purim a day later, they instead are celebrating what is called Purim Mishulash, a 3-day Purim in which the various customs such as Megillah reading and Mishloach Manot are spread over Friday, Shabbat, and Sunday, a whole 3-day affair. We don't have the opportunity to celebrate this 3-day Purim here in Riverdale. We don't get to be part of that experience. But during our Suda, this weird mishmash of a meal that comes up very rarely, we will get to experience this biktana, in a small amount. And through this, our hearts will be even more entwined with our people in Yerushalayim and throughout all of Medinat Israel. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and happy Purim.